Hello, welcome back. I know that I say this a lot, but today is a very special video because this is the Dalek Emperor Davros and Destroyed Imperial Dalek, released in 2012 from Forbidden Planet. It's very sought after, especially unopened like it is, you can tell from the boxing. It's a nice windowed design. It features the iconic diamond designs, which are very Doctor Who coded at this point. There's a little bit of a timeline going on here and the old Doctor Who logo. Officially sold by Underground Toys. On the left hand side here we have a picture of the Dalek that was in Coal Hill, which isn't actually the one that got blown up, but it was abused. And on the right hand side we have a shot of the console room and a closed helmet Emperor Davros. And on the back we have a little description if you want to pause here to see, and also diamonds of information and pictures from the episode. Such a great episode that is unfortunately near the end of Classic Who's run. Here's the bottom of the box if you want to see that. They did use this design quite a bit in 2012. It was either this or the blister pack that they, I think the 7th Doctor with Imperial Dalek was released just beforehand. Which I have here at Fear of Sound Basic. It's easily my favourite classic Dalek story. But yeah, this one I've been wanting for so long. Thankfully I knew someone in a group on Facebook which gave it to me for a very reasonable price. So here we go, we get to the ultimate moment of this video, the whole purpose of why we're here. A lot of people are going to be wincing at this. It's a very hard one to swallow if you're a collector, so avert your eyes or follow me on this journey. As you can see, we have a little bit of a backdrop going on here. Very nice. Not very uncommon with the classic sets. Okay, so let's have a look at the Destroyed Imperial Dalek first. This is actually the entire reason I wanted this set. I saw someone posted a photo with their Remembrance figures, and I saw this, and I didn't think it was real. I never knew that they made this, but it's very cool, and I'm so glad to finally have my hands on it. I was a bit skeptical about getting this, because obviously a couple months ago we got the new B&M release, Emperor Davros. And so I decided, hey, I'm here to collect them all, so I'll have one that's closed and one that's open. And of course I'll be making a comparison video of that, so it's on the screen right now if I've done it. Anyway, back to the figure. You know, in the story there is actually quite a few destroyed Imperials. However, this one specifically is in the scene where it grabs the Doctor by the throat. As you can see at the top here, there's the crab claw crustacean, which I think I read that people were just glad that there was a mutant being shown. I think there wasn't one for quite a while. And if you look a little bit further up, there's the full-size mutant, which was never shown in the actual episode. And I suppose it was just a take from Modern Who, which is, you know, a creative liberty. Very cool. Thank you, character options. The green goo around it is perfect. Looks exactly like it does in the episode. Okay, time to talk about the, oh gosh, the dreaded smoky effect around the slacks. I think the actual slacks looks really nice, and I think the texturing they've done a really good job. There's a nice detail, but it does look like a really bad haircut, which, you know, in the show, understandably, it doesn't just cut off. It doesn't look like that. So I don't really know why they've done this, but ignoring that, it's a great figure. Now, onto the community complaints about this figure. I saw a lot of people complaining about how they thought it was quite an irrelevant figure. You know, it was more of a set piece, so to speak, because it just has less to it. Which, you know what, I disagree. Obviously I would have, but I mean, there's articulation, and also it's just something we've never had before. It's so unique. I don't think you should ever turn away a unique idea. And as you can see here, there's articulation in the claw on top, which, look, at the end of the day, when you're buying Doctor Who figures, they're either going to end up on a shelf somewhere, or you're going to make animations out of it, and then they'll end up on a shelf, you know? Either way, you're going to want props, or they're just going to be looking cute on the shelf. Why is this a negative thing? On top of that, it's just such an iconic episode and such an iconic scene of the episode. Yeah, I'm so glad that they made this, because I've wanted something like this for so long, did not realise that it was a thing until now. And it's in my hands. Lovely. People say that the new release of these Daleks, you know, the history of the Daleks, are a lot better. You know, paint design and contrast. I do really like the tones that they've gone for, you know, the creamy white and the gold. It makes it feel like an 80s retro, like, colour scheme, almost. I don't know. What else can I say? Maybe I'll change my mind when I get my hands on the newer one. Anyway, I don't know if I've said it enough times that, yes, I just love everything about this. I love the era of these Daleks and the way they look, and the fact that I've got my hands on it. Right, on to Davros. So I have a lot to say about this figure, especially now that we have the newer version. It has the exact same colour scheme as the Dalek that came with it. You can obviously tell that this is the same model that is used for the Daleks. However, they have raised the height of the skirt, and the dome is a whole new asset that they've connected to the skirt. It's very cool. I like it a lot. I think it's actually really accurate to what is shown in the episode. There's even the 2 little circles at the top of the skirt that I didn't even notice in the episode, if I'm being honest, but they're there. It's accurate. I'm not a huge fan of the joints that they use for the helmet. At the time of release, it wasn't very expensive. They weren't ever going to make it more expensive than they needed it to be. So, you know what, I'll appreciate that. It works as it is. Just in my previous experience, joints like this, they break a lot easier. But I'm not going to mistreat it, and I'm not going to break it, you know? There is obviously a black border around the window on the outside. You can look through it, I just can't get a good shot of it for this. And actually that's a big difference with the new Emperor Davros that was released, because there's a gold border around the newer one, which is actually not what was shown in the episode. Not sure why they did that. It's a creator choice, I assume. So that's enough of the outside. Let's have a look at the inside. The Davros sculpt itself is actually the same one that they used in previous Davros figures, like this one from the Revelations of the Daleks. The wires, why do they do this? It looks so messy. I'm sure there's a reasonable explanation as to why they've done this with the production and all that. However, thankfully in the newer version, they've cleaned it up. There's some big tubes, there's some smaller wires. However, the colours are not comprehensive at all. None of it makes sense. But I do like how much there is. It looks very messy, looks very chaotic, and I think that kind of gives me the same vibe as what the episode Davros does. So that's a positive at least. I love the microphone. The microphone looks really good. To those of you that are watching this and you don't know why this dome exists, I don't know why you'd be here, first of all, but also secondly, to prevent you from knowing who it was. It was supposed to be a surprise, you know, surprise, it's Davros, the one that you know and love the whole time. You know what? It's just so Doctor Who, isn't it? It's so campy. Why not have a big bulbous Davros? It's fun. Right, so let's finish this episode off. What do I rate the destroyed Imperial Dalek? I rate it an 8 out of 10. Now, that's higher than I originally would have given it because I'm biased. I got it for the destroyed Dalek. As soon as I saw it, I thought, I want that, just because of how unique it is. I'm really impressed by it. You know, yes, it doesn't have a lot of practicality. It's gonna be sitting in the background looking pretty in anything that you use it. That's it. It looks pretty. It looks so cool. And never in my million years would I have thought that they would have made a figure of this Dalek. So yeah, for me, an 8 out of 10. I know that's high. You probably disagree. Now, on to Emperor Davros. I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10. Again, I'm being a bit biased here. We already have a newer version of it, which looks, on the most part, better than this. But at the time, this was incredibly sought after. It was probably a huge deal. But for me, you know, I've come into this knowing that this existed. I'm not saying I'm not a fan of it. I am sitting here rating a destroyed Dalek higher than Davros of all people. But yeah, just personally, I'd say he's a 7 out of 10. Still looks really good, and I'm honouring the fact that it was very sought after, and it still holds up. I'm still very glad to have him, and very glad to have the first version. But yeah, spoiler alert, I do think the newer Davros is marginally better, not massively. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Let's go on over to see what each of them get from the sphere of... God, I still don't know what to call this. But here we go, drum roll please. The destroyed Dalek gets... nappies? Nappies. Cool. It gets nappies. It's very cool. Well done, destroyed Dalek. And Davros, he gets absolutely nothing because he unfortunately does not have arms. That's quite sad. But here you go, you get a cash prize. Well done, Davros. Thank you everyone for watching. Next episode, we'll be reviewing the US version of the Pandorica Wars, which is probably the last thing anyone watching expected me to say. But they're so cool. Look at them. Right, anyway, yes, thank you for watching, guys. This has been DoBU Reviews, and I'll catch you in the next one.